Go live here. Okay, well, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States here in Houston, Texas. I do have a physical office. I know some of y'all have that question. We do have a physical office, so it's a serious concern, right? I totally get it because I know there's a lot more lawyers, especially immigration lawyers, going live, sharing information. It's all wonderful, but you want to know if they have a physical office because if shit hits the fan, you want to know if you can track them down, and you sure can. And also, by the way, if you wonder, like, am I actually a lawyer? Wonderful question. Go to texasbar.com and type in my name, John Ting, Ting. Actually, in college, I found out there was someone with the same name. As far as I know, I'm the only attorney, immigration attorney, that with my name, John Ting. So, but if for some reason, if you get some kind of email asking for money that's not related to immigration for sure, you want to double check. Give us a call because I've just, in all seriousness, there's a lot more scams out there. You just need to be aware of it. I've heard it on WhatsApp, Facebook. I don't know somewhat. Well, so I do have social media channels that people copy. I don't know why. Like compared to other immigration lawyers, there's a lot more followers on my colleagues' pages, my friends. So I think it's hilarious why they would copy my videos, but whatever, they're not going live. So here I am, answer your questions. Today's topic, okay? I usually have a topic for like 5-10 minutes. Then I'm happy to, of course, answer your questions. So stay tuned. I usually go live about 30 minutes. And even if you have to hop off, no worries. I do come back live almost every day. I try my best, sometimes a little bit late, 12 p.m. Central Time. All right. So today's topic, tips for speeding up your green card process through your relative, essentially through your spouse. Okay. Now, of course, I'll answer some questions related to non spouses if you like. Just ask the question and I'll answer it. Alrighty. So today's the first thing a lot of people are aware of is the expedited request. Now it's very specific reasoning. A lot of people say like, "Can I need to tend to my cat. I need to tend to my dog. Is that enough?" No, you actually have to have a more serious, not to say that taking care of your pets is not serious enough, but you need to have a significant reason that USCIS can grant an expedite request because you have to keep in mind this was created because of the pandemic. And I think, and especially with the CDC, the pandemic does not exist anymore. I mean, I think we can all, a good amount of us can agree that there's COVID-19. It's not, it's going to continue. Like some of my family members tested positive about a month, 1 or 2 months ago, and we're like, holy hell, I thought it was over. No, it's not over. Still exists. And unfortunately, by the way, side tip here or knowledge tip, USCIS still requires you as an applicant to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, of course, if you're the US citizen, if you're the resident holder, and you got residency before this whole requirement of vaccine, you don't have to worry about that. But for the beneficiary, the foreign national, you still have to take it. And yes, there is a waiver, but just long story short, to save you so much time if you're adamant about not taking the vaccine, I totally get it. No one wants to like to tell people what to do except the US government. So the waiver is at least $900. So you're almost spending $1,000 for something that's likely going to be denied. And you can take a look. You can Google search the I-601 waiver instructions, and it's not looking too good for y'all. Okay, for those folks that are adamant, and that's because they don't have a category. They list like 2 or 3 different category of options there to provide response, but essentially it boils down to, is it like against your beliefs, like morally, to the extent that you didn't take other vaccines? And most likely you did take other vaccines. Not trying to assume for you, but most of y'all did take other vaccines. So that's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. I mean, I don't know. And even if you didn't take any vaccines, I mean, I'm sure you got some kind of shot record that you could provide. Say, hey, I didn't take any of these other vaccines. I just don't understand how you could prove otherwise, other than that. So if you are one of those folks adamant, take a look. First thing you need to do is take a look at the I-601 instructions. Okay, most lawyers don't want to touch it. Okay, to be honest, from what I understand, because it's likely going to be denied. So, anyways, happy to answer your questions. Thanks for following. what you could do up there or down below on your respective platform. And welcome to ask questions. Don't be shy. All right. In the meantime, back to expedite request. So if and when you do receive an expedite request granted, usually by email, then and that's you're gonna scroll down your email. And it's probably in the middle, and it'll say somewhere in the middle saying expedite request granted. That does not mean your petition or whichever application you requested for was approved. That's a separate thing. And sometimes that could happen. The actual approval of the petition or application could be 1 or 2 weeks later. I mean, you would think like it's again rubber stamp. You would think that, but no, the world superpower, United States government likes to, slow it down a little bit. But in all seriousness, it's usually 1 or 2 weeks for us. Now, when we have requested it lately in early 2024, first quarter, first 3 months, it's been more difficult. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind, if you have an online account, this just save you some time because we always call in for our clients, right? But if you have an online account, I'm saving you some time, like at least 30 minutes, folks, to try to freaking bypass the automated bot with some magic words. But if you have an online account, submit your proof of your reasoning for the expedite request online in your My USCIS account. Because I was able to get finally through to a human, a live agent with USCIS. And they're like, "Does your client have an online account?" I was like, "Yeah, he looks like it. Yes, yes, I do." Great. Okay, so that we love customer service. We want to provide it to every single client. So I'm glad I was able to call in. But now that I found that out for 2024, save yourself some time. Okay. Now, and unfortunately, there is no specific form. A lot of people ask, "Is there like a link, a form that you need to fill out for the expedite request?" No, because again, this is the United States government. You would think as a world superpower that we can get our shit together. Like I just created a new form in our system like this. And yeah, with USCIS, they don't do that. They in the USCIS.gov tools and resources where you would normally submit an inquiry, they don't even have that. You know what? That's the last time I checked. Let me go ahead and check again. How y'all doing? I'll answer your questions very soon. Let me just go ahead and pull up the USCIS tools and resources page on all Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I can share it. All right, let me go. Let's go. All righty, there we go. Share. It's just a ridiculous process. That's why I love sharing this with y'all. Okay, tools and resources, e-request. Okay. And the USCIS.gov does have a web page just about the expedite request. We do have a free guide about it. If you want a copy of it, just send us a message, DM. By the way, if you're wondering how to get in touch with us, at least on TikTok, just go to our profile page. There's a link. I think it's called Zap, ZAAP, in my bio page. It has different links, and you can find the way to schedule with us. Okay. Just fill out, answer a couple questions. So here we are on the USCIS.gov tools and resources to submit an inquiry. There is no option to submit an expedite request. You would think so, right? That would save us so much time, you and us, so much time. It would save the USCIS tier one representative so much time. But no, they want to have you try to go through the freaking automated bot, see if you can waste your time on that. So what I'm trying to say is, number one, ask us for the free guide so you know exactly what they usually ask for. Okay. Okay. Because if you're going to call in to the USCIS hotline, I mean, you better make sure you're off work or on your lunch break because this is not a situation that's a 10-minute break. Okay. We love to share tips so you can do things on your own to the extent that we're able to without getting, ethical boundaries and whatnot. So, but yeah, it is ridiculous. You can see it's only case outside normal processing time, which takes a hell of a long time to they would prevent you from submitting inquiry. If you did not receive a notice by mail, if you did not receive a card by mail, absolutely important. Did not receive a document by mail, like RFE, I guess, possibly. Appointment accommodations, and typographical error. Okay. So hopefully that gives you some idea there. Um, let's see. All right, questions are coming in. What else do you need to know? Um, if you're just now getting started filing your own case, and a lot of y'all are wondering or concerned about your case getting rejected or denied, look, I've been talking about the increase of fees by USCIS. The government fees are going up on effective April 1st is starting. So I highly recommend not filing your case like 1 or 2 days before the deadline, and even by next day mail. It's not going to be a guarantee that they're going to honor your payment method because the amount that you've authorized, right? Whether it's check, money order, or filling out the G1450 for credit card authorization, it could get rejected. So if you are like getting started, like or about to file, you're like, oh man, I gotta put that aside. I gotta do something else. I got work, I got family, I got the birthday coming up. Tell your spouse or significant other step it up with the birthday party or something, or the kids' Easter baskets. Get your shit together. At least get both spouses to sign the paperwork, or your sponsor sign it, so that if there are changes you need to make, hell, I mean, I don't know if you're allowed to use whiteout, but God, save you some time, especially your sponsor. If you need a joint sponsor, get on the ball with that now, okay, to save you time. Because man, especially I would anticipate that getting a joint sponsor to help you out is the thing that would take you the longest time. So if you're wondering, this is like practically speaking, that's what we do with our team is really check the income. Google search 864p. Make sure if you're the sponsor, make sure you have enough income because if you don't, you need a joint sponsor, and that's the part I think takes the most time. All right, all right. So of course, I have a list of tips. I probably need to come up with some tips that's like on a PDF for you guys. All right. So I don't have to mention all these tips on live show all the time. All right. Now let's get down to business to answer some questions for y'all. Um, I just happened to see, okay, thanks for the question. I just happened to see Drip Too Hard's question here on TikTok. So I'm just going to answer that. I'm sorry it's out of order for the other folks here, uh, for y'all, but Drip Too Hard, you said you received an approval notice. I do remember you saying that, what, 6 days ago, 7 days ago? But it says resend the 485 with a copy of this notice. What does this mean? I think you're trying to say. Um, well, that is weird because why would they approve it and then ask you to resend it? Um, in this situation, I usually don't like offer this kind of service to look at it, but this seems a bit skeptical. So if you want to send us a DM, Drip Too Hard, we're happy to take a look. We'll send you our email. We'll take a look. Okay. Um, that's right. That's what I meant to mention. You know what, folks? This is a special offer. If you need, or at least the top 5 tips. Okay. I'll mention this again for those that missed it. If you want our top 5 tips for marriage interview, okay, it's probably more than 5 tips. But if you need or at least some tips from us on the marriage interview, in send us an email. Okay. I usually don't share this, so hopefully my team doesn't hate me. Okay, but it's we care at John Ting Law. Okay, send an email to there. We care at John Ting Law. I know it's weird. .com, of course. And we'll get to you. Okay, now let me answer question on Instagram, I believe. Okay, JM True on IG. Ask for the interview, or do you try to get court to accelerate the process? I need more facts. If you're still on there, I don't know where you're at. Do you have a court case or are you with USCIS? Because it looks like you're saying try to get court to accelerate the process. Okay. But send a follow up message to provide a little bit more information so we have an idea. We'll greatly appreciate it. Hey, Red Eagle Law. Hey, if y'all are out in California, Red Eagle Law files lawsuits out there, and of course, I'm sure they do handle other immigration work. I think Southern California. So check them out. Thanks for joining the show, Red Eagle Law. JM Truge asks, you're talking about you asked for asylum 3 years ago. Okay, got it. So for asylum cases to be expedited via a lawsuit, we usually wait 4 years of waiting time before we file. Okay, Jam Trues or anyone else in a situation. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting 2 or 3 years and excited to just file a lawsuit. You've been hearing a lot about it. It does work, especially for asylum and really most applications. Um, I could go on and on. I'm sure Red Eagle Law we could probably have a show together talking about it. But yeah, it's there's some complex cases that I'm happy to share about. But asylum, waiting for interview or decision, you can file. I would recommend 4 years. Okay. All right. Now on to a couple on YouTube here. Let's see here. Hey, Chelvin, what's going on? Thanks. I think you spoke with one of my team members yesterday. Thanks for doing that. Hope we could guide you a bit. You're renewing for DACA for your wife. Your question is DACA expires on 28th this month. Is it too late to file online? Um, no, it's not. It's not too late to file online. And if you need to do by mail, can you use G1450 all in one? Uh, I recommend G1450 for each application, like one for the 765, one for the 821D. Okay. I did, by the way, Chelvin, I meant to send you something because I did see something about your file. So I will get in touch with you. I'll either record a video or just call you. Yeah, I would do it separately now that I see your second comment. Alrighty. And to it's new comment a question on Facebook. Hope you're doing well. Likewise, we have you have returned an RFE response on your K1 case. I think maybe you're referring to the petition I-129F, and they said 60 days. It's been 105 days. You can only talk with Emma. Yeah. Oh, poor Emma. She's getting a lot of wrath from us. So do you need to do the free guide? We're happy to send it to you. Just send us a Facebook message since you're on there. But expedite request wouldn't help with this because RFE response, if it gets to like 6 months, then we can file a lawsuit for you on RFE response. But 105, I would probably just try to resubmit an inquiry again if you haven't submitted one yet. Try that, okay? Hopefully it helps you out a bit. Okay. All right. Now switching over to TikTok, man, there are so many platforms. By the way, I'm sure y'all heard about a possible TikTok ban. That's freaking out a lot of people. It's kind of crazy how we kind of depend on social media these days. I'm scrolling down this thing. Okay, wow. What's up? What's up? Okay. Thanks for the follow. All right, Kelly on TikTok. When they email us for request, what email does it come from? You're afraid of missing it. Absolutely. Let me see if they send us a yeah, because there is no, let's see, okay. There is no, what's it called, like specific USCIS. Okay, let me see if I can pull up something that comes up here from the government. So usually the subject line, I realize my lighting is a bit off. Sorry if you see my armpit. Good thing I'm not wearing cutoff. Your recent inquiry will be the subject line. Okay. Man, my lighting's weird. Okay. Yeah, your recent inquiry is a subject line, but the actual email, it looks like, let me look at a couple to make sure. USCIS hyphen case status at DHS.gov. Okay, folks. USCIS hyphen case status at DHS.gov. That is not an email to send to. That is an email that you receive, okay, from about expedite request and maybe for anything else. but I'm pretty sure you cannot reply back. So if you're like reply back like, "Hey, what's up, my case?" Pretty sure it goes nowhere. So don't expect anything from that. Okay. Let's see here. Um, Absolutely, Chevin. Happy to help. Yeah, it's new. Yeah, it's 6 months. I mean, hey, I love to sue the government, but I think 6 months is what we call unreasonable, so that triggers the ability to file a lawsuit. So timing is different depending on case, but anyways, let's go over here. All right. D on TikTok asks, can you do 539 reinstatement premium fee? I believe there is. I was looking at premium processing fees for the 539 change of status in general. I don't know if it includes reinstatement, but they do allow premium processing on that. I don't know. Maybe next year they'll allow premium processing for family-based cases. So it's like I just think it'll be difficult because I'm pretty sure they're going to require interviews back again at some point. By the way, if you're just now joining, welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States. If you're wondering why there's so many questions, it's about immigration law. There's a hell of a ton of problems, unfortunately, with the world's superpower. I just don't understand why it is. But I mean, I do, of course, have a really good idea. It's unfortunately negative experiences from other attorneys, um, notarios, notaries, consultant. It's difficult to find an attorney that you want to hire. I totally understand. That's why I go live Monday through Friday. If my health and coughing does not affect me, my health does not affect me, and if my wife doesn't force me on vacation, then I'll be alive. Happy to share information. I used to go live in person and know your rights workshops for like churches. Still happy to do it, but of course, it's a lot easier to do it all in one sitting. So yeah, I'm used to sharing information, things like that. Of course, I'm supposed to tell you, by the way, since this is social media, I have to say that this is information. If you want legal advice, it has to be one on one with an attorney. Okay. So now that I got that disclaimer out of the way, Queendom TL, great name. Can a follow to join be done after green card is issued? Absolutely. That's the purpose of follow join. And that's one of the great things that fortunately Department of State figured out that not all family members are going to join at the same time or immigrate at the same time. Uh, okay, Jara, I getting your comment confused with someone else. It made it seem like it was copy and pasting. What's the easiest way to get your sister here from Philippines? I'm assuming that's what PHP is. You don't have parents anymore. I'm sorry to hear though. Yeah, it's tough. You're a US citizen. She's 10. Okay. Um, we do have a guide about adoption. I know it's may seem weird to adopt your own sister, but that's something you may want to think about. Um, yeah, so some free guides. I mean, she's 10, so otherwise I would mention like employment-based options. But you want to have a game plan because the cutoff, at least consider it if it makes sense legally to be even to be able to do that. Um, well, you're a U.S. citizen, you said. Well, number one, file a petition. At least in terms of if you can't get the adoption part, if it's not even possible, I haven't even thought about it myself. But um, I think about that first because you said she's 10 years old, and the cutoff for that adoption is 16 years old. So you got a little bit luxury of time in that sense. But if that doesn't work, okay, then you need to file a petition since you're a US citizen. And you may know, I, I know I talked about this yesterday, that petitions through siblings and the whole process takes like 10 years. Um, yeah, so check that out. Thanks for the follow, folks. And thank you so much for your trust to ask a question. I know some of y'all not shy to ask question, but some of you are shy. So welcome to do that. All right, let's see. Okay, there we go. Jat for you. on TikTok. Your USCS account shows before 2 months estimate time for I-130, but now shows 30 months. Why? Because USCIS sucks. They are not telling the truth, folks. They have no reason in their right mind to provide you this estimate timing because it's all wrong. If I would encourage anyone who has actually got accurate timing and you saw at like in 1 week, you saw 2 months, and then you're tracking it, you put on your calendar, you said, okay, this 2 month mark, and USCS got you a decision right at that time or right before, let me know in the comments. Okay. Welcome to tell me at any point in the show today, tomorrow, any day. I'll be interested. I'm sure a lot of y'all be interested if it's accurate. But I can tell you, I've talked to USCIS reps every time I call in. I like to ask. It's like me taking a poll. And I asked them, I was like, hey, by the way, my client's been telling me about this, my USCIS with the estimate timing. Is this accurate? Like it in any shape or form? Maybe it's off by like 2 weeks. Cool, I get it. But like, is it fairly accurate? And they always say it's not accurate. They have no idea why the webmaster or whoever's controlling the website to dictate what to be on there. Like I think they had the right idea to provide information like that, but don't worry if it's not accurate. So don't put any weight on it, okay? And because you might look at it like, oh shit, 2 months passed. Like, should I be worried? No, don't worry. USCS is generally slow. Okay, just know that they're generally slow. That's why with our law firm, we offer 3 service levels generally: light, file in 90 days, file your case in 90 days; pro plan, file your case in 60 days; max plan, file your case in 30 days. Okay. Now people ask like, hey, if I pick pro, are you going to wait to the 60th day to file? Hell no. As soon as we get your information that we need, we file it. We don't wait to the 59th or 60th day. Absolutely not. We're happy to file sooner. It's just providing you proper expectations, because if a certain week or a certain month we're really, really busy, like we obviously feel really, at least not obviously, but for our team at Team Law Group, we'll feel really bad if like not able to file in that amount of time, which we can make something work. But if, yeah, so that's why we have that. But if you provide us everything we need, then we'll file it. Alrighty. So, yeah, don't hold weight. Ultimately, don't hold weight on that 3 months or whatever they tell you on the My USS account. That's gonna stress you out. Life is short, folks. Don't stress out about something like this. I mean, I know it is stressful in general, but then there's a lot of things to be stressed about. So I can tell you now that is not something you need to be stressed about. Um, Mommy K, won't have the actual marriage certificate until April 3rd. What's up with that? When you're actually getting married? Does this mean you can only file after you receive it? Yeah. Yeah. Unless you get a like electronic copy that's been recorded with the calendar wherever you file it with the government office local to you. If you have a like what do you call scanned copy before April 1st, before the fees go up, then yeah, that's good. You're fine with that. But yeah, they do need a copy. They don't need the physical like original. Okay. Hopefully that helps you. LMAO, you regret why you didn't hire a lawyer. You did it yourself, and they sent you back all your documents. Oh my goodness, sorry to hear that. Let me try to find your follow-up comment. It looks like you have one. Let's see here. Wolf, yes, we do accept viable cases. We do happy to walk you through it. Okay. Okay. Rose, if your dad brought you to country in the U.S. when you were 14, should you file the N400 or N600? So the safe, I don't want to call it assumption, but I would say it's safe. You still need to research and investigate and review the legal requirements. But a situation like that, I mean, yeah, the inference is that you are a U.S. citizen through your dad, but there have been several situations where we investigated, researched it for our other clients, and that was not true. And we had to file separately through a separate sponsor. And so that's something we would prefer to investigate because, heck, that could save a lot of time or stress for sure if your dad did actually include you before. I mean, hopefully. So yeah, and 400 and 600 if you already legally are a U.S. citizen, but N400 if you're actually applying to become a U.S. citizen. That's the key difference. What's up? What's up? All right, let's see. Next question here. I did not skip. All right, user. This now I'm going to switch over to YouTube in a bit. Okay, you have an I approved I-130 and P. Your prior date is March 2022. Your spouse's LPR. What should you do? Well, let's take a look at the handy visa bulletin. All right. Visa bulletin. Oh, this is one of my favorite websites. Okay, you said March 2022. This website from the Department of State shares a lot of quality information. Do we like looking at it? Of course not, but 'cause sometimes a bit complex, but it's necessary. In which country of nationality are you? User 410? Oh shoot, I don't see that follow-up comment. Wow, that's a lot of questions. Thanks, folks. Um, I scrolled all the way down. Okay, user 410. If you're still on, please comment. But let's look here. Okay, so you're talking about F2A final action. I'm just gonna assume all the countries. Then if their working case is September 8th, 2020, and I think that person mentioned 2022 is the prior date. Boy, oh boy, you got to wait approximately 2 to 3 years, and probably just with a visa interview. Okay. Hopefully by now your document's very qualified. Okay. Alrighty. If anyone else has question about Visa Bulletin, I'm thinking about having like a little bit more thorough so you can ask questions. Overall, I think maybe once a month, maybe every 3 weeks, I'm going to have a webinar. So, so you're welcome to join. I'm going to figure out probably having a link in my profile where we could, look around and find that webinar invitation. Um, and we can walk through some things, especially the Visa Bulletin, because it can get complex. All right, folks on YouTube, I mentioned I was going to get back to y'all. Uh, Homan on YouTube. Okay, you applied for TPS while being in status, then you went out of it and it's still pending. Will they in the future forgive you for this period if you applied for employment-based GC? So, I believe it should, once it's approved, it should be based on. That is tough. You went out of status. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because USCIS might not do it correctly. If you DM us or message us, or I mean email us, I'm happy to see if I can find that USCIS regulation for you on that. But try and make a long answer short as possible, as succinct as possible. If you're applying for employment-based GC, the concern for USCIS all the way down the steps at the 485 stage, which is the very last step for any residency pathway, of course. And their concern is going to be, have you maintained status? Can you provide proof of that? And that's going to be difficult for you because TPS, as of now, is not considered lawful status. Okay. They want non immigrant visa. Now, if the law changes somehow through a lawsuit or something, that would be hella amazing. That'd be great for a lot of y'all. Okay. And that's just one part. The other part about it is, were you able to, like, your concern basically, were you able to transition from a different status? I mean, there is case law for like family-based cases, by the way. Like, if you have TPS, that can help you for adjustment for entry purposes to show you were admitted. I know it's totally weird how this law works in America. It's ridiculous. They should have it simpler, but that's just not how it works in America. unfortunately. All right, Kenneth. When is the best time to sue USCIS delays on AOS? Okay, that the best time. Well, how long is yours delayed? In general, so typically for AOS type cases, it's based on how many months since the sorry, from the uh, receipt date. Okay, so I would say at least 18 months. Um, and when it's been, because I've had a couple clients and we were very very reasonable with them, where we refunded most of the fees, if not all, when I think they hired us at like 16 months. And then sure enough, I don't know why, maybe we have good luck for them. But after like a week and we were preparing the lawsuit, they got a decision. That was, I'm pretty sure 15, 16 months. So that's why for us, we would say for AOS, 18 months since receipt date. And yes, I get it. Even if you had filed a response to your RFE within 6 months of the receipt date, that has nothing to do about this analysis. Okay. I know a lot of y'all excited about it, but just it's more so dependent on the unreasonable timing from the receipt date. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. Now, if you have a situation where it's, you've had the interview already, then I would say probably just about 6 months. Because every time we've had hired to do RFE response or something after an interview, for example, it's right around, fortunately, knock on wood for us, it's usually 1 to 2 months response time. But there's been a couple from the USCIS, but there's been a couple times where it's definitely been less than 6 months, but around the 5 month mark. All right. So it's just different scenarios. Hopefully that helps you out. All right. Let's see here. Faye, you passed your N400 interview. Congrats, but you still have no response in regards to O ceremony. Well, how long has it been, Faye? If it's been like a week, that's too quick. I might not say too quick, but um that's not long enough per se. I would say about 2 months. Okay, then you try to submit inquiry online if you haven't got the oath ceremony. Usually, there's a delay on oath ceremonies. By the way, especially when you requested a name change, and the name change is supposed to be done at a federal court. Okay, I think they've made it flexible, and maybe the judge can come down to the USCIS local office or wherever else the ceremony could be, but typically it's at a federal court, and there's not, they don't have that every month. So, um, but not completely sure if you ask for a name change. How y'all doing? I'm gonna try to stay on live for another 10 minutes. All right, it's 12:45 Central Time. Just leave just like 5 minutes so I can eat grub, get some grub. All right. D intense. Can a miscarriage with adequate documentation be used as evidence in a marriage-based case? First, D, sorry to hear about your past. I know it's been difficult for a lot of people. Um, as evidence, certainly, it could definitely help, especially show that you've been trying to start a family. Now, keep in mind, folks, in general, USCIS is ridiculous when they send RFE. One of them, their example evidence, like, hey, if you had a kid, give us a birth certificate, which I would think, like, if you did have a kid, that you would provide a birth certificate anyway, but maybe some people don't do that. Um, but of course, it's not a requirement to have a kid in general. If anyone's wondering, like, some people have actually asked that. And so you don't have to have a kid to get approved for adjustment of status. Thank the Lord, because I know number one, it's been difficult for a lot of people these days. To procreate? So that actually gives. Not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but makes you wonder what's in our food, or water. Alrighty, Aliyah on TikTok. Once the I-130 is approved and case is sent to NVC, how long is the process for getting an interview? It's you talk not abroad. Well, first, I don't have timelines. I don't think any attorney has timelines on which, depending on like which country of not embassy or consulate. But in general, Have you been documentary qualified? If you've been documentary qualified, DQ'd by email from the National Visa Center, generally, without regard to consulate embassy, it's about 6 months. Okay, some countries are processed faster because they have less cases potentially, whereas other countries like Philippines have way more cases, thousands more cases, so it takes longer. Whereas, like in Islamabad, Pakistan, the U.S. government, I'll say it out loud, prefers to discriminate. Um, Iran, they like to discriminate, right? Politics, unfortunately. I really don't understand Pakistan other than like post 9/11. Um, they allegedly use a contractor, of course, of the U.S. military or Department of State to do the vetting process. It's not completely done by Department of State. And so because of that, there's no accountability on, hey, contractor, you need to process the vetting, background check vetting. I mean, I shouldn't do quotations. I'm sure they legitimately do background check, but for some people, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, most people, in terms of like vetting for like 6 months plus, that's just a bit wild. Um, yeah. So and it's similar to when the military subcontracts for other things, like actually fighting in a war, a battle. It's less accountability, so they can do whatever the heck they want, unfortunately. So that's just something to keep in mind to understand the process. That's subcontracting now in America is a common thing to reduce liability. It sucks for immigration. Let's see. Nance on TikTok. How long does it take to get a FOIA back? If it's USCIS, I would say average 1 to 3 months. Fortunately, with Department of State is average 1 year, 12 months. Um, so in OBIM, Office of Biometric Identity Management, that's a mouthful. It seems to be about 3 to 6 months. So hopefully that gives you an idea. But if you need a FOIA, if you're wondering what the heck is FOIA, it's Freedom of Information Act. It's a way that the old school way or public information request. That is the old school way like journalists would get information. And I'm sure they still do from government agencies, local, federal, or state. And we could do the same for you if you need a copy of your file from the past, especially if you can't get a hold of your prior attorney or your prior attorney sucks and you just want to move on. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not here to step on any attorney's toes. Some of y'all might think that, or some attorneys might think that, but really, it's in your best interest, especially if it's like a medical surgery. I would like to have a second opinion at least. Okay. And especially if you haven't heard back from your law firm that you hired and it's been at least a month. Not saying you need to go like gung ho and hire another attorney that quickly, but you know, a lot of law firms don't have a process that allow you to self-schedule meeting. Like I've talked about this at a lawyer conference. Provide a link for clients to schedule a meeting so that they don't have to call in. It just makes sense both sides to save you time. And so because people are used to calling in and say, "Hey, can I have a meeting with the one of the attorneys?" Like that's the old school way. We just have a link below our email signature. Make it so easy for y'all and us. Thank you for any client that's watching and have scheduled. Okay. So consider that. Oh boy. Cheryl on TikTok lost her citizenship certificate. Working again, a replacement. Oh my goodness. It's gonna cost a pretty penny. Um, let's see. Let me make sure which form this is. I believe it's an N600. Okay. And let's see. Oh boy. Let me just double check that this is the form you need to file. I believe N600 though. Uh, you should file. Okay. Uh huh. Well, maybe I'm a bit wrong. Maybe it's at 565. Let me just double check real quick. Okay, there we go. Yeah. It's the N565. Okay, and let me tell you how much you can file online. All right, Cheryl, and the fee online is $555. Oh, thank God, because I think it could be going up April 1st. April 1st, all pretty much most of the application types, the fees are going up. $555. Okay, Cheryl, get this done. You can Google search USCIS.gov. There's a search box. You go 565. Okay, and if you just Google search N565, make sure the website is .gov. Okay, and you can file this sucker online. Get that done. And then after that, after you get received, scan a copy of it. Absolutely. And then apply for your passport again if you need to. Now, other thing is, you might think, folks, in general, that most of these applications should be like rubber stamp, especially like EAD renewal, DACA renewal. No, it's not. And but you would think like you file online, it's going to be quick. No, it's not. Um, especially with the I-90 to replace and renew your resident card. Man, a lot of y'all been suffering a long time. A lot of y'all been telling me 24 months. That's ridiculous. I'd file a lawsuit if I were you. 24 months is ridiculous. So we do have tips so you can get proof of status if you need it for travel purposes. You just DM us. I'll get you on your way to travel. All right. Let's see here. Baris, sorry if I mispronounced your name. On YouTube, your wife's 601 was approved. Congratulations. How long will it take for her to get interviewed since she's in Brazil or she is in Brazil? Again, congratulations on that. Did she have an interview before, or is this would be the first one coming up? You want to make sure because you're saying 601, so it sounds like she may have already had the interview, and the officer already said, "Hey, you need to apply for this waiver." In some cases, we've been very fortunate the past couple of years that the Department of State would waive the second interview. It's wonderful. But in general, have you been DQ'd? So you would have been DQ. She would have been DQ'd already, documentary qualified. So you need to update the embassy or consulate. Okay, Rio de Janeiro, possibly for you or for her. You need to contact them, or she needs to contact them. Email is probably the best. And the thing is, because USCIS, they don't update the State Department. Okay, they don't talk to each other. So that's why lawyers get involved, right? Unfortunately. Um, I mean, unfortunately for me, we're happy to help, but I mean, unfortunately for many people, you do have to know that step. All right. I mean, if they do happen to notify USCIS, notify State Department, great, but usually they don't. So don't depend on that. That's a common mistake. All right. So Chelsea Fan TV, what's up? How long will approval take for a family-based adjustment status when case shows actively being reviewed after submitting a medical? So unfortunately, it's hard to say. Uh, Normally, lawyers would say it depends, but actually, I don't think this depends on anything. It's just free for all with USCIS on when they pick up your file. Because in general, actively being reviewed doesn't literally mean like they're checking today, tomorrow, this week, next week, right? Because if that was the case, why would it take that long to check a medical? So keep that in mind. Our office is very fortunate, knock on wood, that anytime we've had to send in a medical before, for us, we always highly recommend to clients to always provide a medical for the purpose of because they might get the interview waived. But so for the past clients, we highly recommend, of course, provide medical ASAP, but you may not get a response that quickly. For us, we got response like a week over the weekend, following Monday after we mailed it in, but no more than a month for us. But for you, for others, I hear stories like still waiting 3 months, 6 months. Um, Hard to say, but at the end of the day, if you're considering like, hey, shoot, this is ridiculous, I might need to consider filing a lawsuit because it's been too long. It's not based on the date you responded to the RFE with the medical or any other RFE. It's based on a date that you filed your case, the receipt date on your 797C notice. Okay, so hopefully that helps out. All righty. Uh, Keisha on TikTok. What's next after you do your physical exam? I think you talked about the medical exam that I was referring to. If you haven't filed your case in general to USCIS, that you want to provide the results in a sealed envelope to USCIS with your package together. Okay, I highly recommend it, especially if you're trying to get your interview waived. Now, don't be scared, okay, folks. We love going to interviews because we love to represent clients at interviews. And don't think it's easy peasy, but don't be scared, okay? Because we can prepare you, we can provide you peace of mind at the interview. And a lot of people think like, "Oh, John, I don't know why I hired you." I mean, no one's ever asked, but I always thought this like people might ask, "Well, John or attorney, why did I hire you? Like nothing went wrong." Well, shit, nothing went wrong because I was here. Okay? And some people might not realize that. And some people I remember in the past, like when we weren't as adamant with clients needing an attorney at the interview, but now we are. Even after Trump, we are because we randomly hear stories from other people about why their case got denied or is it delayed. We highly recommend having an attorney at the interview. Okay, so but even then, you might have a smooth process um, through the interview. Fortunately, because we prepared you. Hi, Sunita. Sunita, I normally don't share the forms, but because I don't know the full story, but sounds like you said fiance. So I want to make the safe assumption that he or she is coming with the K1 visa and touching down. So you got to get married, of course, within 90 days of entry, his or her entry. Now, you don't actually have to file the paperwork, the package at the 90-day mark, but we love to do that because look, everyone's trying to get the work permit, everyone's trying to get the green card so they can move on with their life, travel. I get all that. So that's why for us, our timeline is followed at the minimum 90 days. Um, okay, so 485, 765, I-131. In the 485 application, you need to check mark the appropriate basis of adjustment status. So for your situation, if your future spouse is entering on the K1 visa, it needs to mention check mark the correct box because the application can be rejected and if checking the wrong basis of the 485 adjustment of status. And with the fees increasing soon, and I don't know when your fiance is entering, you don't want to get rejected and then have to pay the increased fee. So our law firm is being very specific on this to let all new clients know, like, hey, if you want to file before April 1st, we're going to try our best, but you need to be ready in case you give us information, evidence last minute, sign the forms last minute, that they may have to pay the increased fee. But we will absolutely try our best at no extra cost to file a case before April 1st. If you authorize us before tomorrow, really, because that would give us just the right amount of time, I think. Okay, but you got to get your shit together, essentially. Cause I call y'all out because some of y'all, man, just don't give us the evidence we need. And there's like a lot of things we need. There's a few people. Okay, Kathia, your mom won a lawsuit against your employer years ago. Congrats to her and you. Can she still apply for a U visa? It's only if it's considered a crime. If what happened was considered a crime, because we consider that for like civil lawsuits, like someone got injured in a car accident. There's no crime. I mean, we helped someone before where there was unfortunately a death, and then or an injury or injury. There's a couple cases involving vehicle, then that's where it turned into a crime, right? But it was only like I mean, your situation's different, but in general, when it's a civil case and not anything involved with police or a crime, then U visa is not the way to go. But you said lawsuit, so it makes me think possibly T visa when you mentioned employer. Okay, Kathia, send us a DM because sounds like possible TV. So, Olga, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let me check Instagram for any comments. Y'all are shy on Instagram. I think y'all know this, but TikTok seems to have the better algorithm. Let's see here. Uh, Andrea on Tik. Oops, I clicked the wrong one. I answered this person already. Andrea on TikTok, you say you got a job recently, but it's not sponsored. Is that not advised? Well, if you're here without status, you definitely need to know about H-1B. Um, H-1B, well, because that registration is closing March 22nd at 11 a.m. Okay, so you need to get that done. If your job is based on a degree, your degree. Now, keep in mind a quick tip here, folks. The H-1B is if you're filing based on bachelor, your degree can be from outside the United States. It can be from outside the United States. If you're trying to go for the master's exemption, your degree has to be from the United States. Okay. So if that's the situation, then we just tell people you really need to try to find an employer a job based on your bachelor's degree. So those are extra things that we consider and share with you in the strategy session. So folks, if you're wondering how to get in touch with us, of course you can send us a DM, but if you don't mind, you can go to our bio on TikTok at least. You can go to click on our bio profile page up top there, I believe. Click on the link at the bio, and there's another link that'll take you to answer a few questions, and you get the opportunity to answer a few questions. Okay, I mean schedule an appointment. Alrighty. Let's see. Also, one housekeeping thing, folks. Thank you so much for your trust and answering or asking us questions. Um, I see another one I definitely want to answer. So for Sophia Martinez, um, we most likely have to charge a cancellation fee. Okay, it's this amount of money. It's not much. It's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Okay, but it's really because some people have not been showing up. I mean, it's strange. I think maybe it's because of work, whatnot. I get it, but try not to schedule a session during your work. I know it's difficult. Um, if anything, just send us a message. We really don't want to charge you for it because it's meant to be at no cost, but we just want to hold a little bit accountable there. Okay, less than a cup of coffee, this amount we call a cancellation fee. Okay, now if you show up, we're going to refund it. Okay, our billing department's going to refund it. All right, but if you don't show up, that's just gives us a little bit peace of mind, I guess. But just really the intent is to keep you all accountable to that time because a lot of people have an increase and some people have to tell people no, we can't schedule you because we have a lot of increase, right? So, and I love sharing tips. Anyways, let me answer two more questions because I went on a side note there. Sophia Martinez on TikTok. Do I like being an immigration attorney? You think about going to law school? I actually encourage people who are interested, especially in immigration, to go to law school. Just because, of course, I think there's a lot of different ways to advocate within immigration law. There's not just one. There's so many ways. Like I mentioned at the interview appearance, some people think we just twiddle our thumbs, but we're actually doing a shit ton of work during the interview and before the interview. Um, so anyway, that's one example. And yeah, DM me if you have any questions about law school in general, the LSAT. Oh boy, I did not enjoy those times. So happy to answer. All right, then one more questions. Let's see here. Cassandra Ramirez, are immunizations enough to show proof of physical presence under 245I? So if I recall correctly, you have to show presence December 20th, 2020, 2020. I believe, yes, that would be enough. As long as you have something with your name on it. And look, the shot, like you said, your shot record, the shot itself doesn't have to happen that day, December 20th. It could have been like December 19th, December 21st. We've had evidence like that, and USCIS believes is enough. We've been approved. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. All right, folks, thank you so much for your time tuning in and asking questions. I apologize. I couldn't get to everyone. I really, really tried. Um, I used to be able to go faster. Maybe ever since I started coughing, it's been a bit difficult. So thank you so much. I'll see y'all live tomorrow. If you have any questions about H1B, I'll let you know right now. You got to ask ASAP because the registration closes this week, March 22nd, 11 a.m. Central Time. And it's not that easy to register. It's not a click of a button only. Alrighty? You have a good one. Take care. You know what to do. Follow and tap like. Okay? Take care.